I've always believed that if you stop for a stranger, you're doing the right thing. That belief nearly killed me. It happened back in 2019. I was living in a small town in northern Indiana, working late shifts at a factory about an hour away. Most nights, I'd drive home after midnight, cutting through a long stretch of state highway, just fields, rain, and silence. That night it was raining. Not heavy, just that steady drizzle that makes everything look blurred. My phone was nearly dead. The wipers kept squeaking every few seconds. That's when I saw him. He was standing on the shoulder, half soaked, thumb out, wearing a dark hooded jacket. No cars in sight, no gas station for miles. I slowed down without really thinking. The headlights caught his face, pale, mid-30s maybe, a week's worth of stubble and tired eyes. I pulled over. He jogged up to the window, shivering. "Thanks, man," he said. His voice was rough, like he hadn't used it in a while. "Been walking since noon." I unlocked the door. He got in, dripping rain onto the seat. "Where are you headed?" I asked. "South," he said, "if you're going that way." I nodded. I was. He didn't say much at first, just sat there breathing heavily, rubbing his hands together for warmth. I tried small talk, the weather, the storm, where he was from, but he only gave short, clipped answers. Something about him put me slightly on edge. Not because he looked dangerous. He didn't. It was the way he'd pause before answering, like he was editing his thoughts before letting them out. I kept glancing at the duffel bag between his feet. It was army green, old, with a frayed zipper. Every time I hit a bump, it rattled softly. Something metallic inside. "You from around here?" I asked. He looked out the window, rain sliding down the glass. "Used to be," he said after a moment. "Used to?" I asked. He didn't answer, just kept staring into the dark, like there was something out there I couldn't see. A few miles later, he finally spoke again, quieter this time. "You know, it's crazy how people don't stop anymore," he said. "Used to be different. People helped each other." "Yeah," I said, keeping my eyes on the road. "Guess everyone's afraid." He gave this small, crooked smile, not friendly, more like he knew something I didn't. "Guess they should be." I laughed a little, mostly to break the silence, but it didn't sound right. We passed a gas station sign, the first one I'd seen in 20 miles. I told him I'd stop there just to fill up. He didn't say a word, just kept watching the window like he was expecting to see something out there in the dark. When I turned off the highway, the rain came harder, a steady sheet pounding against the roof. The place looked dead. One pump under a flickering light, and a store that barely looked open. I parked and shut off the engine. "You want anything?" I asked. "Water? Snacks?" He turned his head slowly, his face half lit by the dashboard glow, and said, "No, I'll stay here." There was something in his voice, flat, calm, like it wasn't even a choice. My gut twisted a little. Still, I nodded, got out, and left the keys in the ignition. Didn't want to make it weird. The rain hit cold across my face. I started pumping gas, trying not to look at him. But when I finally did, he was just sitting there, perfectly still, staring straight ahead. I walked into the store, shaking off the rain. The place smelled like old coffee and wet paper. Behind the counter, a woman, maybe mid-50s, sat reading a magazine. She looked up when the bell over the door rang. I grabbed a bottle of water, tried to act normal. When I set it on the counter, she didn't ring it up right away. Her eyes drifted past me, out the window. "Is that your friend?" she asked. "Just a hitchhiker," I said. Her face changed, just slightly. Then she said quietly, "You pick someone up on this road? At night?" Something in her voice made my stomach twist. She hesitated, eyes flicking toward the rain outside. "Be careful," she said quietly. "There've been a few incidents lately. A guy matching that description." I felt my stomach twist. What kind of incidents? She didn't answer right away, just shook her head a little. People went missing. Travelers. 2 weeks ago, a woman stopped for a man out near Ridge Creek. They found her car. Not her. The The bottle nearly slipped from my hand. "You sure it was around here?" She nodded once. "You should go." When I got back to the car, he was smiling. The first time I'd seen him do that. "Everything okay?" he asked, voice calm, too calm. "Yeah," I said, forcing a grin. "All good." I turned the key, and that's when I noticed. The duffel bag that had been at his feet was gone. "Where's your bag?" I asked. He looked at me, just for a second, then turned back to the window. "You worry too much." Something in his tone made my skin crawl. I started driving. The rain had turned to fog. The world outside shrank to the reach of my headlights. Then he said it. Calm, like it was nothing. "Turn right up ahead." I looked at him. "That's not my route." He didn't look back, just said, "It's faster." Something about his tone made me tighten my grip on the wheel. It wasn't what he said. It was how quiet it was. I shook my head. "No, I'll stay on the main road." He leaned back, still calm, like he'd already expected that answer. "Suit yourself," he said. And then, nothing. Just the sound of the engine in the rain. I kept driving, trying not to look at him, but I could feel him watching me. The fog got thicker. The road got smaller. Every minute felt longer than the one before. Then I saw lights ahead, flashing red and blue through the mist. Police, a roadblock. And for the first time that night, I felt like I could finally breathe. A sheriff's deputy waved us to the side. I rolled the window down, trying to sound normal. He leaned in, rain dripping from his hat. "Evening. You two traveling together?" "Just giving him a ride," I said. He nodded, took my license. While he looked it over, I glanced at the man next to me. His hands were on his knees, tight, white-knuckled. His breathing had changed, short, sharp, like he was waiting for something. The deputy handed my license back, then looked at him. "Sir, can I see some ID?" He smiled, small, polite, and said, "Sure." He reached into his pocket. Slow, too slow. The deputy stepped back a little, hand on his belt. Then, without a word, the guy threw the door open and ran into the rain. "Hey!" the officer shouted, taking off after him as the cruiser lights lit up the fog. I just sat there, hands frozen on the wheel, heart pounding so hard it hurt. Voices shouted in the distance, then silence. They never found him that night. Or maybe they did and didn't tell me. I honestly don't know. They just took my statement, told me it was safe to go. When I finally got home, I sat in the driveway for almost an hour, the engine still running. The sound of rain, like static in my head. I kept thinking about the one thing I hadn't told the police. The duffel bag. I didn't mention it. Didn't want to. After that night, I just wanted it to be over. And besides, I didn't even know where it went. Everything should have ended there. But then I remembered something. When I pulled into that gas station, another car came in right after me. I only saw its headlights through the rain. No plates, no make, just a shape sitting behind mine. When I came back out, it was gone. Didn't think much about it then. But a week later, I saw that same shape again, parked near Ridge Creek. Next morning, they said another driver had gone missing on that same stretch of road. That's when it hit me. He wasn't alone. He was bait. And whoever was in that car, they were waiting. Maybe the duffel bag was meant for them. Maybe I was too. Now, whenever I see someone on the side of the road, just a dark shape in the headlights, I keep driving. Because I know better than to stop.